What's up everybody, this is Carmeezy back with another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to swap the shell on your Joy-Con to not only add a clear shell, but a D-pad. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so like I said, we're going to be swapping out the shell on our Joy-Con to not only add a clear shell, but a D-pad as well. This is going to be my first time doing this. I actually opened it up before just to take a look at it because my left bumper was broken. So yeah, that's why I'm doing this, but I've never actually replaced the shell, so bear with me. So right off the bat, a couple things we're gonna need. We're gonna need a pair of good screwdrivers. There's some tiny screws we're gonna be dealing with. Also a tri-wing screwdriver. This is a screwdriver that has only 3 points to it. Nintendo likes to use these a lot on all their products, so you're gonna need one of those. I also recommend having a pair of good tweezers. I like to do stuff like this on a mouse pad, just so a lot of the stuff doesn't roll around. I also have a little Altoids tin that I like to throw my screws in sometimes. Just be organized. A lot of those screws are small, like I said, so if they roll off the table, good luck finding them. So yeah, let's get into it. So right off the bat, we're gonna need the tri-wing screwdriver. We have 4 tri-wing screws. Pardon my braces. So we're gonna go ahead and take those out. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and pop this bad boy open. Just be really careful. I want to be careful because the ribbon cables are still attached. So there we go. So as you can see, the ribbon cables are still attached. So you just want to be aware of that. If you break these, you're not going to be able to charge or sync your controller anymore. So be careful. We're going to go ahead and pick the battery up. And there's no adhesive, just a little bit of tape. And it's just connected by one little port right there, that little black thing. Right there. So you could go ahead and get your tweezers and lift that up. And with a little bit of pressure, it should pop up very easily. Like I said, it's just that one little port. Go ahead and put your battery to the side. And then there's going to be 4 screws we're going to be taking out right now. Well, actually 5. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, so with those 5 screws taken out, this thing should lift right up. And be careful again because there is another ribbon cable attached, and that's for your bottom trigger. So there is a cable attached. So we're going to go ahead and remove that cable right here. And there is just a little flippy thingy right there that holds it down. So you're going to flick that up and pull out your ribbon cable. And like I said, be very gentle with these ribbon cables. We're gonna go ahead and put this to the side for now. We're gonna have to take off that trigger, but we'll do that in a minute. Now that we have all that stuff out of the way, we can disconnect the other ribbon cables right here. And they both have 2 different little flippy thingies. I don't know what they're actually called, so they're gonna be called flippy thingies. So we're gonna disconnect the flippy thingies. And there we go. We released our ribbon cables. And at this time, we can take off the railing for our Joy-Con. There's only 1 screw that takes. So we're gonna go ahead and take that off right now. And then we're going to want to go ahead and pop out that little button. Oh, it actually fell out, but the little button to release our Joy-Con rail. And we don't need this anymore. So we could actually get that same piece and then put our Joy-Con railing on it right now if we want. So we have our Joy-Con railing on our clear shell now. And you could actually change out these SL and SR ones too. They actually included some of those, but I mean, I like how those look still. If we don't have to do it, why bother? So I'm gonna leave them on. So next we're gonna be wanting to take out our analog. So our analog, it only takes this screw, I believe it was. So we're gonna go ahead and take that out. And make sure you put away those loose screws. I had them loose right now. I wasn't really paying attention, but yeah, so make sure you're aware of all your loose screws. Oh, that doesn't sound pretty. So our trigger just kind of fell out. While we're at this point, I'll actually show you my broken trigger. Since the trigger fell out, you can see right here that it's missing a piece. And that actually is this little guy right here, the little button. Yeah, so I guess when this Joy-Con fell, it actually put pressure onto this little button itself, and the soldering came loose and it popped out. So that's why my button wasn't responding, because the button was physically not there. So I actually bought this little replacement piece for it. It's the same thing, so hopefully it works out. I bought 2 of them just in case, but yeah, hopefully all is good after that. So and oh, I forgot, there's one more little screw holding in our analog stick. So we're gonna have to remove this little ribbon cable. Get at the little flippy thingy, take that, and now that's out of the way, or it was out of the way. And we're gonna go ahead and take off that screw. And like you can see right there, the screws kind of bounce sometimes, so that's why I use a mouse pad. Otherwise it would roll off the table, and yeah, I'd be mad. And then, so now that our analog is loose, we have to just remove this little, I'm having a brain fart. Remove that little strip. And so another little flippy thingy. And we can remove that, and our Joy-Con little analog should just pop right up. We do have a little adhesive thingy. There we go. So we got our analog right there. We're gonna put that to the side, and we have this little strip right here. Go ahead and take that out as well. We're gonna put that on the other one. Be careful not to rip it. And yeah, should look like this now. So this whole piece right here should be loose now. So we're gonna go ahead and pop that out. I don't want to unhook the little rumble pack because I heard it's kind of a bitch to put back on. So, yeah, we're gonna try to take out the rumble pack. It does have some adhesive. Oof, I scared myself. I did a little bit too hard. But it does have some adhesive. It needs a little bit of pressure, but with a little bit of force, it'll come right up. And then, yeah, the whole thing with the rumble pack should just pop right up. Put that to the side. And then next, we have the rest of this little assembly. So we're gonna go ahead and take out these 3 screws. So now the only thing that should be left on your Joy-Con is these little pads and the rest of the buttons. So we're gonna go ahead and swap those over right now. Got our new shell, nice and pretty. So we're gonna take the little pad thingy. We don't need the buttons because we're not using the buttons. We're gonna be using a D-pad. So we got our little D-pad here that comes with our shell. So we're gonna go ahead and pop that right in. Make sure we put it the right way. And then there's our little D-pad. So next we're going to take off the home button. And then we're going to grab our minus button. Oops. All my little buttons fell over the place. But we don't need those. We got a D-pad now. Well, we almost have a D-pad. I should be only able to put it in like one way. So, yeah, for the little minus button. So you just pop that in. And then there we go. So before we get to the rest of this section, we're going to move back to our trigger. And I heard this thing's kind of a bitch, so hopefully it's not. So it has 2 little springs that are attached to 2 little like nubs in there. And there's supposed to be a little metal thing that you can depress to get this thing out of here. Let's see. Alright guys, so apparently this little trigger is a really pain in the ass, and there's supposed to be a little plastic like trigger on the trigger, little plastic part right here that you decompress, and it should release this, and then you have to realign the little pegs and stuff afterwards. But you know what? My bottom trigger still works, and I don't care about this thing. You can't really see all the way through the freaking Joy-Con, and all it's going to do if we put this back in is going to add a little bit of different blue right there, a little line, and I think that looks kind of cool. Plus, I kind of figure that my battery will fit in here perfect, everything will fit in here perfect because it came like this. So I'm going to keep the other parts of the shell, and I'm not going to change this. So don't judge me, please. So since we're leaving this alone, we're going to put this to the side. and go back to this one. So we're gonna get our new piece that we bought. So now, following the reverse of what I showed you, we're gonna go ahead and put our new little part in, and we're gonna reassemble everything. Alright guys, so we're back with the finished product. There we go. Looking real nice. It's the back half. And like I said, since I kept that middle piece, it's a different color blue, but it looks kind of cool like that. And then it matches since I left those other buttons as well. So you can see right there. So I didn't want to show the whole process of the reassembly because I mean, I showed you the disassembly of it, and I figured you could just refer to that and do it in reverse. I did that because I wanted to save you guys the pain of watching me stumble and fumble through it, Yeah, because it was a little bit of a pain. It wasn't too bad, but it did give me a couple tips for you guys. Before you fully screw everything back in, of course, make sure you're testing everything out. All the ribbon cables, make sure they're firmly in there, along with the battery itself. I was having a problem with it not powering on because the battery wasn't fully depressed into the little slot, and I had to depress it with some force. But unfortunately, I had already put my screws in, and one of them didn't want to come out. So yeah, I had to push the whole kind of shell to the side and try to work on it all at a horrible angle. So, and then also, for some reason, I was aware of this issue a little bit, but not to this extent. But for some reason, all the little slots for the screws, inside and out, they're not threaded. None of them are threaded. So I guess they might have done that to save money on making the shells, but the process of you actually screwing it in actually threads the hole. So not only is it very tough to screw each one into the hole, but there's a very good possibility of you stripping it, which is what happened to me. Like I said, all of them were fine except for one. It stripped and it was still tightly in there, but it wouldn't come out after. So once I had it in there, it wouldn't come out. And I was pressing it, trying to get it to sync. There was no power to it because this wasn't fully depressed and I couldn't fully take the shell off. So just be aware that when you're putting the screws in, take your time and go slow. It's gonna take some force to actually screw each screw into the slots, but just be careful. You don't want to apply too much force because, like I said, you might strip it. And when you're first putting everything together, you want to make sure everything works before everything is fully tight. But I am happy with it. It looks nice. And then I'm going to show you that all the buttons work. So give me a sec. Alright guys, so we're here at the little test button screen. So we're going to go ahead and hit that. And we got the D-pad working. And then we got the analog, the capture button. We got the start button, little minus button, I mean. And then we got the left trigger. And like I said, my left bumper didn't work at all. So now it's working. So I'm pretty happy about that. I got a fully functional Joy-Con again. And yeah, I got a D-pad. And it looks badass. So I'm happy about it. So hopefully you found this informative. Hopefully this helped you out in some way. Like I said, be aware of some of those issues, like the no threading. And also, you know, maybe if you drop your Joy-Con and your left bumper stopped working like mine, maybe you had the same issue. So hopefully this helped you out. Like I said, if you found this informative, please like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.